Welcome back, everyone, to our Facebook show where we give some guidance on immigration issues affecting you. I'm Herb Gonzalez, Director of Client Relations here at Godoy Law Office, and I'm here with attorney Mario Godoy, who will discuss with us some topics, in particularly what happens when your case gets stuck at USCIS and it's being held up by them.
Right. So, some of our clients come in, they'll discuss with us that their case has been stuck. It's been held in administrative processing. Sometimes they get letters saying that there are further background checks that need to be done. And, often enough, what we'll ask is, have you done any status requests? Have you tried writing a letter? Sometimes have you reached out to a public official? There's another group called the Ombudsman group within USCIS that can also help out. But when all of that's failed, really the only sure thing is to file a lawsuit in federal court.
Great. And how will filing an actual lawsuit in federal court actually help?
Well, filing a suit in federal court helps because in some cases, USCIS, they've gone beyond their processing time, right? You can actually have a judge order USCIS to answer your application. Now, the neat thing about this is that what we do is we file a writ of mandamus in order to get your case in front of a federal judge. The advantage there is that federal judges are appointed for life. So they're not tied to any particular president, they're not tied to Democrats or Republicans. They simply want to do their job and get done. So they can actually go through and they can force immigration to do an answer. Now, on the other side are the U.S. attorneys. So they'll be the ones that are going to be defending the government against that suit. And they're a different part than immigration. So the U.S. attorneys are often enough very interested in resolving these cases quickly. So I think that these are the types of cases that can settle out prior to going out to trial, which really helps our clients out and could help you out there in just getting an answer for your case.
Okay, great, Mario. And why would filing a federal lawsuit actually be a good idea in these circumstances?
Well, if you've been waiting long enough, you'll have realized that immigration will really stick to the administrative processing as its excuse for basically not moving your case and getting it done. And in your case and your life are delayed, and they're both held in limbo the entire time. Filing the suit forces immigration to explain to a federal judge why they took your money and they have not done their job. That it basically it forces them to go through and make a decision, right? Because they've gone beyond a reasonable amount of time in what it should have taken to make a decision. And I think that that's really the main thing that the benefit would come from is forcing the officer to take the case off the shelf just to make a final decision.
Basically, get some resolution, I see.
Yeah.
What about in citizenship cases when they're being held up?
So citizenship cases are a little bit different because under law, Congress has given the government 120 days after your interview to make a decision. So if you have not received a request for evidence, then, and it's already been more than 120 days, by law, you can go into court and force the government to give you an answer. So we can always review those cases for issues, and if there's no issue, then the best answer is really to file that lawsuit.
Great. And normally, how much time should elapse, or how long should a person wait to actually file a suit?
Well, that depends on the type of case. So my rule of thumb is that if you're asking for a visa or an adjustment and you're here in the United States and it's been 1 year since your last interview, I think you've given the government a reasonable amount of time to get their job done. So I think in those cases, I would file the suit. Now, as we discussed just a little bit earlier, in the citizenship cases, you can file sooner under the law. So if it's been 120 days basically is 4 months. So I think if you've hit 5 months and you don't have an answer, it's time to start talking about filing a lawsuit.
Great. Now, the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, if they turn down your application, would they do it out of anger?
That's one of the most common fears that I think we hear about. And here's the deal. Being denied is always a possibility. You face that possibility when you filed your application for the very first time. And I think the truth is, going into these offices and doing the amount of cases that we see, these officers have so many cases that they have to review. And if there's an issue, they will delay making a final decision. Maybe they'll want to do further background checks, right? Or they'll want to look into it, and that all takes time away from your life. The only way to force that decision is to file a lawsuit. And the other things, remember, it's a different branch of government that deals with this. So there's USCIS in the executive branch, but it's the courts that are deciding the lawsuit. And even with that executive branch, it's a different part of the government that's defending those suits. It's the U.S. attorney. And I have never seen an instance of the U.S. attorney acting unprofessionally. I think more often than not, filing the lawsuit focuses a spotlight on your case, which will force the officer, the USCIS officer, to review your case and to make an actual decision so that you can move on with your life.
Perfect. Very interesting information. Um,
The other thing is think about how long you've been waiting, right? Are you waiting on to move on with your life, right? How is this affecting you and your family? Have you not been able to move? Have you not been able to switch jobs? Are you stuck in the United States, unable to go home and visit any parents, or unable to basically leave, right? They have you basically in limbo in a jail cell until they make this decision.
right. And so usually what happens once you actually file that lawsuit?
Well, so the suit will be filed in court and it goes to the U.S. attorney. And like I said before, this is an office separate from immigration. And we also serve every person that was involved in your case, including your officer. And so they each have notice that this case got filed. And then the U.S. attorney will have to explain to a judge why the government has taken an unreasonable amount of time on your case. And for that reason, the U.S. attorney will often work as a second partner with us to help us get the case moving. They'll reach out to the government on the immigration side and say, "Come on, guys, let's move this case along." And once the suit is filed, the neat thing for our clients and for our viewers is that the U.S. attorney has 60 days to file an answer with the court. So when we've filed these cases, we've seen results, usually within 1 to 3 months. And that's my experience. These cases get resolved quickly once that lawsuit has been filed.
Perfect. So you basically get the ball moving and get things actually accomplished with this. What steps should one take if they are interested in actually filing a lawsuit?
So I guess what I would use as a general rule, if it's been 12 months since your last interview for a visa, then it's time to meet with an attorney. Like we said, if it's a citizenship, you may pick 5 months, all right? But the first step is I think you meet with an experienced immigration attorney, right? Because they'll be able to look at the cases for any pitfalls. So an attorney can basically look and see what happened during your case. Is there a reason why it's being held up, right? Did you not answer something correctly? You may also want to look at, is there something in there that makes you deportable or removable from the United States? Like, could they start deportation process? And have you exhausted your attempts to move the case along yourself? Before you go in front of the judge, you look much better if you've done everything within your power, and now you have to go to the court as the last resort. So then we can draft and file your case in federal court, and then an attorney would help you negotiate and interact with the U.S. attorney on your behalf.
Perfect. So you got to be diligent, make sure that you're not opening up a can of worms, I see. Usually, can any attorney file a lawsuit?
So while any attorney that's licensed in the United States can practice immigration law, not every attorney can file in federal court. So when I went through the system, I actually had to get a license and permission from the court in order to be able to file a lawsuit in front of them. So you'll want to make sure that whoever you go to get this information not just knows the immigration law, but that they're also licensed to practice in federal court.
Perfect, perfect. Well, folks, if you have any questions about suing on your case that you may currently have pending, please give us a call. Our toll-free number is 855-554-6369. Again, 855-554-6369. We'd be more than happy to set up a consultation with Mario or one of our other attorneys here so that we can basically provide you a professional assessment as to what can be done in your particular instances.
Great, everyone. Thanks.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.